invisible man. Why? Because Thomas Marvel has escaped from the place. Thomas Marvel has escaped from the place while taking the books of this strange man, the Griffin, or the invisible man. Okay, so he thought that he might be chased or he might be hit by Griffin or the strange man or the invisible man very soon. So he cannot actually see Griffin or know where he is. Thomas Morwell wants to secure himself inside the Jolly Cricketers, but cannot be sure that Griffin has followed him inside. This again shows the frightening power of invisibility. Okay. See, the best advantage of invisibility or being yourself invisible is that wherever you go, no one can see you. Okay. And you can do whatever you want, and no one can hit you and no one can arrest you. So, this was the advantage for invisible man to do many good things or the bad things with Thomas Morwell. So two men chatting in the Jolly Cricketers pub are interrupted by a commotion coming from outside. Okay, the barman suggests that it might be a fire when suddenly Marvel burst inside. Okay, so here two men, they were playing or they were chatting there in the Jolly Cricketers club, and they were interrupted, means they were disturbed by a sound. Okay, or a siren sound. So there the barman means he is a worker in the bar or he is a worker in the Jolly Cricketers club. So that barman suggested that it might be a fire when suddenly Marvel burst inside. He attempts to shut the door behind him, but it remains open. So Marvel was trying to close the door, okay, close the bar door or close the cricket door, but it remains open. Here, Marvel is in tears and strikes for help, saying that the invisible man is coming after him. One of the men in the pub, an off duty policeman, requests that all the doors to be shut. Marvel is hysterical, saying that the invisible man promised to kill me and that certainly he will. So here, when Marvel came inside the Jolly Cricketers club, he told everybody that the invisible man is following him and he has promised him that definitely he will kill him. So there was a policeman. He was the half duty, means he was not on his duty, but he is a policeman. He is that day he has taken off from the duty, so he was on the off duty. That man requested all the cricketers, like workers, to shut all the doors in the club. Then there is a knocking and loud shouting at the door, and the policeman asks, "Who is there?" Okay, Marvel pleads that they do not open the door, and the barman offers Marvel a place to hide behind the bar. Okay, so when they have closed all the door, say invisible man is invisible man. Okay, so only the thing is that we cannot see him, but it doesn't mean that he can come wherever he wants, or he can be the Superman or the Shakti man, that wherever he wants he can come inside, or he can directly jump into the bar or somewhere. Okay, in case if the doors or the windows are open, he can come inside. Only the physical appearance or the physical body cannot be seen. Okay, and apart from that, he is same as like all the normal human beings. Okay, so here there is an there when Thomas Morwell was requesting to the bar persons or the members, and even the policeman who was on off duty, he was also requested to the members of the whole bar, okay, to close the windows and the doors. There suddenly they had a sound. Okay, they had heard a sound, and someone was knocking at the door. Okay, someone was knocking at the door, and they and loud shouting at the door, and the policeman asks, "Who is there?" So Marvel pleads. Okay, Marvel requests that they do not open the door, and the barman, okay, he gives a place to hide behind the bar to Thomas Marvel. Suddenly, the window of the inn smashes. Okay, suddenly, when they never opened the door, okay, when they did not open the door, okay, the window of the pub or window of the club, it was smashed, it was broken. Okay, the person who is breaking it or the person who is smashing he is completely invisible. We don't know who is smashing or we don't know who is hitting at the door. Okay, but only the sound that we have sensed is that somebody has smashed the window. And the policeman observes that as soon as the door opens, the invisible man will come in, and the man inside beg him not to open it. Marvel declares that the invisible man is now circling the house and explains he is artful as the devil. Okay, so here he says that Thomas Marvel says that invisible man is an artful as a devil. Here, Marvel's comparison of Griffin and the devil highlights the extreme extent of Griffin's malicious behavior. You can imagine, okay, when we compare a person with the devil, okay, or bhutini or bhoot or any certain things, okay, so you can imagine how worst they are in their behavior. When you compare a person, ದೆವ್ವಿದ್ದಂಗ ಅದಾಳಕಿ ದೆವ್ವಿದ್ದಂಗ ಅದಾನ ನಾವ್ ಯಾವಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, okay, okay, वो भूतनी है, वो भूत है. Okay, so when we say such a words, you just imagine how worse they are in their presentation, okay, or how worse they are in their behavior. Okay, so here Marvel, he is now Griffin, he is now behaving in a truly demonic fashion, not only threatening Marvel personally but wreaking havoc on the public at large. Means he was not only threatening Marvel alone, but he was pouring the havoc. Havoc means, a poison on everyone. So, poison means it should not be in the mode of liquid. What is the work of, at the end, what is the work of the poison? It kills someone, okay, or something. So in the same way, making someone scary or threatening someone is also in the same way. So here, Marvel says to the policeman that he has become an artful as like the devil. Mark the line, okay, because it is very important. It may come for reference to the context. He is as artful as the devil. Suddenly, the door to the pub burst open. Marvel starts squealing, and the men run behind the bar to help him. Okay, suddenly the door of the pub, okay, it burst open. Okay, it opens immediately with a great force, and Marvel starts squealing, and the men run behind the bar to help him. Marvel is forced into the kitchen, where he is punched in the face. So Marvel, okay, he was forced by a force. Okay, he was taken forcefully by a force. Okay, the force which was taking Marvel, it was invisible, it cannot be seen. Okay, so such kind of a force, it was taking him to the kitchen, and there the force was invisible man. Okay, the force was Griffin. So he took him to the kitchen. Okay, and there he with forcefully he had hit on his face. Okay, he had given a punch on his face. Two of the men grabbed the air and declared that they have caught the invisible man. Okay, so two of the men in the bar, okay, they have grabbed the air. Literally, they have grabbed the air and they declared that they have caught the invisible man. Griffin yells and knocks the men aside. Griffin escapes, and all the men rushes out to the yard. One of the men from the pub shoots 5 bullets into the air and then asks for someone to bring a lantern so he can feel around for the invisible man's body. Here the story takes an even more violent turn, and the stakes of the Griffin's horrifying presence are highlighted. Thus far, Griffin has only been threatening to kill people and has not made any serious efforts to do so. However, after the man in the pub attempts to shoot Griffin, it seems likely that at least one person is going to end up dead in the end. Okay, so this indicates that, at the end of the novel, somebody is going to die. Okay, at the end of the novel, somebody is going to die. So here This is what we have studied in the last day. I mean, the last class in the Jolly Cricketers Club. The things are very simple. Marvel was threatened. He was scared by. The Griffin or the strange man. Okay, somebody was hitting him, and Griffin had promised him to kill him. So he was chasing him, and in the scary mode, he has come to the Jolly Cricketers Club. He requested the barman and also the policeman. He analyzed his, he explained his story, and they closed the door. But Invisible Man, he smashed the window and he burst into the club as like a fire. And later, he took forcefully Thomas Morwell into the kitchen. He had hit on his face, and two men from the bar, they have grabbed the air. In the air, they were able to catch Invisible Man, but he was not being under their hands. Then later, a man from America, okay, he fires the bullet into the air. He fires it for 5 rounds, okay, 5 rounds bullet he does. And later he asked to bring the Latin, okay, to feel for the body of Invisible Man. Means he feels that the Invisible Man is dead, means he has killed the Invisible Man. So he asks somebody to bring the Latin to feel something or to feel pity for the body of the Invisible Man. So here the story, it takes an even more violent turn, and the stakes of Griffin's horrifying presence are heightened. Thus far, Griffin has only been threatening to kill people and has not made any serious efforts to do so. However, after the man in the pub attempts to shoot Griffin, it seems likely that at least one person is going to end dead at the end of the novel. So this is there in the 16th chapter, that is Jolly Cricketers pub or the club. So today we are moving with the next chapter, that is the chapter 17th. So if you have a book with you, please open. So at least tomorrow, your notes is ready till 28 chapters. But the thing is that I am facing some problem with laptop. Okay. So I will ask here someone to correct it, and I will share the screen very soon. I mean in the next class. The 17th chapter is Dr. Camp's visitor. Okay, the 17th chapter is Dr. Camp's visitor. So what's there in the Dr. Camp's visitor? Here Dr. Camp is writing, as I have told you, that Camp already had sensed the presence of Invisible Man. Okay, so now he completely being caught by Invisible Man, and Invisible Man is now relaying, he is depending on Dr. Camp. Okay, Invisible Man, I really don't understand why, but he blindly believes this Dr. Camp, and he goes on narrating everything to Dr. Camp. Here Dr. Camp is writing in his study when he hears the shots being fired. He wonders what the asses, okay, in Burdock are doing now, and look outside to see commotion by the Jolly Cricketers. An hour later, his front doorbell rings. He asks the servant who it was, and she replies, "It was just, runaway ring." Dr. Camp absorbs himself in the work again and doesn't leave his office until it was 2 a.m. Okay, so until it was 2 a.m. Just a second. Until it was 2 a.m. He goes to get a glass of whiskey before bed, and on the way notices a dark spot on the floor near the bottom of the stairs. Inspecting it, he realizes it is a dried blood, and then goes to his bedroom and finds the door handle blood-stained, as well as the other spot of blood around the place. See, Dr. Kemp, he was busy in his work, and it was quite late in the night. He come across the bullets, firing bullets in the Jolly Cricketers Club. So he feels that what the asses means donkeys, okay? So what these asses or the donkeys are doing there. So he keeps quiet, and after an hour, his doorbell, okay, it rings, and he asks his servant to open it. His servant opens it and says that there is no one in the door or near the door. And he keeps quiet. Then he was very busy and he absorbed himself in the study till the 2 a.m. in the morning. And after that, when he was going to bed, he had a glass of whiskey. Then, when he was about to go to take the whiskey on the stores, or sorry, on the steps or on the stairs, he found that there was the dried blood. Okay, he found that there was the dried blood. Okay, which was laying on the floor. Fine. So he sensed, okay, something. It was really strange. He had whiskey and he went to the room. So when he was about to hold the handle of the door, means of his room door, and when he was about to go inside, he sensed really something strange, that there already Thomas Morville, sorry, Griffin has come and he has opened the door with the bloody hand, because as you know, that the American man in the bar or the pub, he has fired for the 5 times. So one bullet has hit the invisible man. Okay, so one bullet has hit the invisible man. Fine. So, and this is the result that why the whole body was bleeding. So here, when the Dr. Camp he touches, okay, the room, sorry, the what is that, room door, he senses that somebody really has come here, and they are scaring him, or they are threatening him. And Griffin holds the tight and demands that the Camp be still, threatening himself in the moves. Okay, here Dr. Camp hears a voice saying his name, but dismisses it because he is no believer in voices. So what happens when Dr. Camp comes inside the place? There he hears a voice saying his name, but he dismisses it because he is no believer. He doesn't believe. He never believed in the voice. However, there is still a part of him that has superstitious inklings. Suddenly, he sees a bloody rag hanging in mid-air, which makes his jump. A voice speaks to him again and announces itself as an invisible man. Kemp is sure that this is only the foolishness or the trick. However, he then feels Griffin's hand close around his shoulder. Okay? When Dr. Kemp was not at all ready to believe that really there was the invisible man, and he has come into the room. Okay, so he was literally unaware of all these things. He never believed in such superstition things. But when he never believed, he hold his shoulder, okay, from the back. Okay, from the back he hold his shoulder, and later Kemp is sure that this is only the foolishness or the trick. However, he then feels the Griffin's hand close around his shoulder. Griffin holds tight and demands that Kemp be still, threatening him if he moves. Here, most of the characters immediately believe that Griffin is invisible after he announces himself as such. However, as a scientist, Kemp is certain that it's more likely he is being tricked, that then Griffin is really invisible. The irony of this, of course, is that it was a scientific experiment that rendered Griffin invisible in the first place. And later, Griffin explains that he really is an invisible man, and that he doesn't want to hurt Kemp. But that if Kemp behaves like a frantic rustic, then he will have no choice. He introduces himself as Griffin, reminding Kemp that they met at the University College London. He describes himself as a younger than the Kemp, tall and almost an albino, with a pink and white face and red eyes. Then Kemp is confused, calling the situation horrible and accusing Griffin of devilry. Griffin agrees that it is horrible, and tells Kemp that, okay, and Griffin also tells to Kemp that he is injured and needs help. Here, the fact that the Griffin may have albinism adds a new element to the story. Even before he was invisible, Griffin had an unusual appearance, which may have made him feel like an outsider and led him to crave the anonymity that comes with invisibility. Perhaps Griffin's desire to isolate himself emerges from the trauma of being made to feel different because of his looks. And later, Griffin demands some whiskey, saying he is near dead. Kemp gives Griffin the glass and insists that he must be hypnotized. Then Griffin dismisses Kemp's confusion and demands food. He borrows one of the Kemp's dressing gown and then asks for socks, slippers, food, everything. Kemp obliges, adding that this is the insanest thing I ever was in. Kemp brings some meat with Griffin eats, okay, without cutlery, making it look as if the food is being mashed up by the air. Griffin eats greedily, saying that happening upon Kemp's house was the first piece of good luck he has done. Here, even after being reunited with an old friend who he hopes will turn into an any alley, Griffin continues to act in a rude, greedy, and entitled manner. This, literalized by his consumption of food and drink, which can see being chewed and digested. The image suggests that the griffin's greedy is so extreme that it even surpasses his invisibility. Then later, Griffin explains that Marvel tried to steal his money when Kemp tries to ask him more questions. Griffin protests that he wants to eat without having to tell stories. After his food, Griffin demands a cigar or a cigarette, which he smokes with the same greedy enthusiasm. Griffin repeats that he needs Kemp's help and absorbs that the camp has stayed the same over the years. He remains cool and methodical. Later, when Kemp asks more questions, Griffin again demands to be left to smoke in presence. Griffin says he needs to sleep, but then immediately declares that he cannot sleep because then Marvel will get away. Griffin says he has a particular objection to being caught by my fellow man and then worries about that he has put ideas into the camps ahead. So here after having a good food, there Griffin feels to sleep, but he never sleeps because he tells that if I sleep, there Burwell or the Thomas Morton who has treated me, he will escape from the place. Then Griffin's lack of social skills seems to have verged on the pathological. His extreme selfishness and the rudeness combined with his enormous appetite for destruction and delight. He gets in causing harm to the others, suggested that he could be a sociopath and a psychopath. In this sense, invisibility could simply be an extension of the existing lack of remorse or consideration of consequences. So here I end the 17th chapter. Please enter your roll numbers. Please enter your roll numbers. As you know, you have your first internal test on 7th of July. Be prepared for the internal test. Insert your roll number. I have told you to put up your roll numbers. Are you not understanding?